All right, happy Friday, folks, and let's get stuck straight into the Celtic chat because there's a lot to cover today. Bit of a bittersweet one, if we're being honest, because we've got news of departures, one confirmed, one all but done. And just a touch of transfer talk to keep us dreaming about what's coming next. So get comfy, grab a cuppa, and let's dive into it. We'll start with the one that's already official. Scott Bain is leaving Celtic Football Club after 7.5 years in the hoops. Now it's always a strange one when a player like Bain leaves. Not someone who made headlines week in, week out, but someone who was there season after season, being part of the fabric of the squad, contributing when called upon, and collecting more medals than most players could ever dream of. And let's be clear, we're talking 7 Scottish Premiership titles, 4 League Cups, and 3 Scottish Cups. That's 14 major honours. Let that sink in to really put that into perspective. And I know we love a bit of comparison. That's 3 times the number of Scottish Cups James Tavernier has won, 4 times as many League Cups, and 7 times the number of Premiership titles. That's not a dig, it's just facts. Numbers don't lie, and Scott Bain, despite not always being the man between the sticks, was part of a ridiculously successful era for Celtic. He was there, he experienced it, and he earned every bit of it. Now let's talk appearances. 78 in total, 76 starts and 2 as a substitute. Can you name those 2 sub appearances off the top of your head? One of them was when Joe Hart got sent off at Livingston. Remember that one Bain comes on cold as ice does the job. The other was much more recent, final day of the season trophy. Day at Celtic Park, Joe Hart's farewell. Comes off with a few minutes to go, Bain gets the send-off. Poetic in a way. And here's a brilliant wee stat I saw floating around online. Bain won a trophy every 5.5 games he played for. Celtic, imagine that. Every 5 or so matches and boom, another medal. But look, I get it. When a squad player like Bain leaves, there's always that temptation to turn it into a comedy show, turn him into a meme, but I think that would be a bit disrespectful. Because if we're being real, and I'm being genuine here, Bain was important. He had his moments. He was ready when called upon. And sometimes that's what you need in a squad. Someone who's professional, consistent, and there to lift the group when needed. Remember his debut thrown into the fire at Ibrox at Derby away from home. Atmosphere, absolutely electric pressure. Through the roof. But Bain steps up. We win 3-2. He holds his own. That was March 2018, by the way. You want to feel old Doris de Vries was still at the club back then. That's how long ago it was. Doris is practically retired now. Might be coaching somewhere or off the grid, who knows. But Bain, he stuck around, outlasted loads of players, managers, goalkeeping coaches, and was always part of the squad. That means something. There's also that forgotten penalty save against Lille during the COVID season, Europa League group stage. I'll be honest, I had no recollection of it until I saw a clip online the other day. But sure enough, there he is keeping it out. It might not be one of those iconic Celtic moments, but it's still part of the story. And my personal favorite Scott Bain moment, it's got to be the derby at Celtic Park. The one where Scott Brown gets into it with Andy Halliday Gerrard's moaning about disrespect after the game. Halliday goes charging down the tunnel like a madman, and Bain's just there separating everyone, looking at Halliday like, "What are you doing, mate?" Pure contempt on his face. That look said it all. Class. But beyond all that, beyond the funny moments and the stats, the best measure of a player like Scott Bain is what his teammates have to say about him. That's what really matters. Joe Hart, in his farewell interviews, spoke so highly of Bain, called him a constant during his time at the club. Said he was always there for him, backing him up, never causing problems, always lifting the mood. And more recently, Kasper Schmeichel, Denmark International Champions League veteran, echoed that sentiment. Said Bain was a huge support for him at Celtic. That's not something players say lightly. You got to remember the dressing room dynamic is everything. You got the stars, the starters, but then you've also got the glue guys, the ones who keep things ticking behind. The scenes. And from all accounts, Bain was exactly that. A steady hand, a supportive presence. Someone the squad could rely on whether he was on the bench or between the posts. Now Bain himself released a wee statement about his departure, and it was everything you'd expect, full of gratitude, full of pride. He said, I'm really sad to be leaving the club, but I'm so thankful for everything Celtic has given me. It's been a huge honor to be part of the biggest and best club in the country. He thanked the gaffer, the other managers he's worked with, all his teammates and the fans. Said he's made lifelong friends at the club and that he'll always support Celtic. You love to hear that. That's what it's all about. So yeah, the time has come. He's moving on. Where to? That's the question now. Does he head down south, maybe picks up a role at a championship club? Does he go abroad for a fresh start? Or does he stick around in Scotland, maybe join a premiership side where he could actually be first choice? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a team like Dundee United or St. Mirren made a move. He's experienced, he's got a winning mentality, and he's still got a few good years in him. Wherever he goes, you'd hope he gets a good reception when he returns to Celtic Park, assuming he does. We're not always the best at that, but for keepers, we seem to make an exception. Just look at how we treat Craig Gordon when he comes back. Standing ovations every time, and rightly so. So cheers, Scott Bain. 14 trophies, 78 games, a few derby memories, and a whole lot of class. Thanks for everything. Right, shifting gears now because there's another departure brewing, and this time it's one for the future. Young striker Daniel Cummings. This one's been on the cards for a while now. There were rumors back in January that he was leaving, then it went a bit quiet. But now it's all but confirmed. According to reports, when we're talking proper sources here, Daniel Cummings will be joining West Ham United on the 1st of July. Deal's done. Medicals completed, paperwork sorted, it's happening. And yeah, it stings a bit. This is a lad who scored 30 goals this season, got a wee cameo in the Champions League against Aston Villa when we were down to the bare bones and showed real promise. Still a teenager, loads of potential, but he's off to England for a new challenge. Celtic will reportedly get 30,000 euros in training compensation, which feels like pennies in the modern game. Barely even covers a couple months' wages. For some players, but that's the way it works with youth players moving cross-border. Not much you can do about it. Now I know this is going to spark a whole conversation, again, about how we handle our youth talent. Because this isn't the first time this has happened. Ben Doak, Daniel Kelly, Liam Morrison, Barry Hepburn, and now Daniel Cummings. All players with potential, all given a taste of first-team football, all moved on before they had a chance to really make their mark. And yeah, it's frustrating. You want to see the academy paying off. You want to see players breaking through, becoming the next Tierney, the next Forrest. So the question is, why does this keep happening? Are we not offering enough of opportunity? Are the players just impatient? Is it the lure of England, or are agents pushing them to take the money and run? It's probably a bit of everything, if we're honest. Brendan Rodgers has said it before. To make it at Celtic as a youngster, you need two things: talent and patience. And that patience bit is getting rarer and rarer these days. Everyone wants the fast track. Everyone wants first-team football by 18. And when the likes of West Ham come calling with Premier League B teams, big contracts, better facilities, and the chance to go out on loan to a championship side, it's hard for young players to say no. Let's face it, at Celtic, where would Daniel Cummings realistically have been next season? Playing for the B team in the Lowland League again. Maybe a run in the UEFA Youth League if we qualify. He wasn't ahead of Johnny Kenny in the pecking order. Wasn't about to leapfrog Kyogo so how much game time was really there for him? And yeah, that's the dilemma, because we want to see youth getting chances, but who do you drop to make that happen? It's not Football Manager. It's a results-driven club under pressure to win every game. Still, it does make you wonder, could we be doing more to keep these lads around? Anyway, Cummings is off, and we'll be keeping an eye on how he gets on. Hopefully he smashes it in West Ham's B team, earns a loan to a championship side, and maybe even breaks into their first team someday. Or maybe he'll be one of those players we look back on thinking, what if time will tell? There's one more name that popped up in the mix this week, and it's tied to the striker situation that Celtic need to sort this summer. The name Matthias Kvistgaarden. Danish forward currently playing for Brøndby and reportedly on the radar of a few clubs, including Celtic, West Ham, and Eintracht Frankfurt. Aye, that's right, the same Frankfurt that gave us a footballing lesson back in May 2022. So maybe, just maybe, we let them have this one as a thank you. But jokes aside, it sounds like there's genuine interest from the Premier League and the Bundesliga, which makes this a tough one for Celtic to get over the line. Let's talk about the player first. Kvistgaarden has just come off a brilliant season with Brøndby. 23 goals in 38 appearances across all competitions with 7 assists on top of that. He's only just turned 23, still very much in the early stages of his career, and he's already earned a call-up to the senior Denmark national squad. That's no small thing. And with Kasper Schmeichel part of that squad as well, you got to imagine Celtic have a bit of insight into what this lad's like both on and off the pitch. From what we're hearing, Celtic actually made an inquiry about him back in January. But Brøndby weren't ready to sell mid-season. Now he's reportedly valued at around £12 million, which, let's be honest, would likely be a record fee for Celtic if we were to go all in. And that's where the difficulty comes in. Because once you've got Premier League and Bundesliga money in the mix, the numbers start to move fast. Not just transfer fees, but wages, signing bonuses, agents' fees. It all adds up, and for a club operating in Scotland, it becomes a very steep hill to climb. Still, you can see why Celtic are interested. We need a striker. It's that simple. There's a lot of talk that Dyson Maeda will be shifted permanently to the left wing next season, which leaves us thin through the middle. Adam Maeda had his moments on loan, but even with his tally of 20 goals, he divided opinion. Some fans saw potential, others saw inconsistency. Either way, if Celtic want to push forward, not just dominate domestically, but make a serious dent in Europe, they need a top-level number 9. And Kvistgaarden, by all accounts, ticks a lot of boxes. He's mobile sharp in front of goal good, in the air, and has a bit of bite about him. The Danish Superliga might not be the Premier League, but it's no pushover either. In fact, you could argue it's on par, or even slightly above the Scottish Premiership in terms of depth and quality. So a player who shines over there could very well translate well here. The worry, though, is timing. Did we miss the boat? Was last summer the moment to strike when his price tag was lower and fewer clubs were sniffing around? Maybe. But if there's still a chance to make this one happen, you like to think the board are working flat out to make it possible. And if not Kvistgaarden, then someone of that level. Because going into a Champions League campaign, or even just trying to keep Rangers at bay without a proper striker, would be asking for trouble. So yeah, we're saying goodbye to Scott Bain, watching Daniel Cummings slip away to England, and now holding out hope that the club can land a real difference maker up front. There's still a long way to go in this window, but the next few weeks will be crucial. Let's see what Celtic do. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Rumours swirling around the Scottish football scene suggest that Lawrence Shankland could be on the brink of swapping Tynecastle for Celtic Park in what would surely be one of the most talked about moves of the summer, while nothing has been officially confirmed. Word on the street is that the prolific Hearts striker has all but agreed terms with the Glasgow Giants, with only the finer details left to be ironed out. The rumblings began earlier this week when several sources close to both clubs hinted at advanced negotiations taking place behind closed doors. Shankland, who has enjoyed a sensational season in maroon, netting consistently and leading the line with aplomb, has reportedly attracted the attention of Brendan Rodgers, who is believed to be keen on bolstering his attacking options ahead of a busy domestic and European campaign. It's understood that Celtic view Shankland as the ideal candidate to add more firepower to their front line, bringing with him a wealth of Premiership experience and a keen eye for goal. The 28-year-old has been a talismanic figure for Hearts, captaining the side and endearing himself to the Gorgie faithful with his commitment and knack for scoring at crucial moments. However, the lure of Champions League nights at Parkhead and the chance to compete regularly for silverware may prove too tempting for the Scotland international to turn down. Hearts supporters, naturally, will be devastated at the mere prospect of losing their star man, particularly after such an impressive campaign. Yet, as has been seen so many times before in Scottish football, when Celtic come calling, it's often hard to resist. No official statements have been made by either club as of yet, and Shankland himself has remained tight-lipped amid growing speculation. But sources suggest that an announcement could be imminent, with Celtic eager to wrap up the deal before pre-season preparations get fully underway. Whether this move materializes or not, one thing's for sure. The rumor mill is in full swing, and the thought of seeing Shankland don the famous green and white hoops is already sending shockwaves through the Scottish football community. For now, the Gorgie faithful will be hoping it's all just hearsay, while the Celtic support might just be daring to dream. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.